Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to unpack something that sounds, incredibly simple on the surface, but it literally dictates the success or failure of any maintenance operation. We're talking about how we plan our work. We're going to look at how meticulous, component-level documentation doesn't just save a couple of minutes, it actually changes the entire trajectory of an organization's efficiency. Think about it like a butterfly effect in a plant or a facility. A few wasted minutes searching for a manual over here, a delayed repair over there, it all compounds, right? Suddenly, your whole team is stuck in this reactive, firefighting mode instead of proactively managing the assets. So we're going to explore how to completely avoid that trap by taking a fascinating look at two very, very different operational realities. To really understand these two realities, I want you to meet our main character. This is David. He's a planner, and today he's got two pretty routine jobs sitting on his desk. The first one is just a simple filter change. The operators noticed a pressure differential, they saw it was showing signs of clogging, so they wrote up a work order. Easy enough. The second job is stopping a drip on some hypochlorite discharge piping. Now, I know what you're thinking. These sound like completely minor, everyday tasks. But here's the thing. How a planner handles this routine stuff, it tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the system they're working in. So, as we walk through how David handles these exact same two jobs in two parallel universes, I want you to actively ask yourself, which reality of planning do you currently live in? All right, let's look at section 1, a tale of two plans, starting with the hard way.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights the massive friction of generalized planning. In Universe A, our hard way scenario, David is stuck dealing with these incredibly thick, generalized system files. And worse, the work orders come in with absolutely zero specific equipment tags. I mean, it's literally a needle in a haystack. It's the exact kind of setup that just drains a planner's morale before they've even finished their morning coffee. But then, contrast that with Universe B. Over in this alternate reality, David has a highly specific planner file area, and the work orders? They arrive with the exact tag numbers already written on them. It is night and day. Let's see what happens to David when he's forced to work in Universe A and deal with all that generalized friction.
Well, because he's stuck in this hard way universe, David has to start skimming. He's flipping through these massive, thick system files kept right behind his desk. He's digging through the FC file for the fuel oil service system, then the IR file for the intake chemical treatment system. Just imagine the clock ticking away. And honestly, this is so incredibly common in the industry. Planners spending hours a week just hunting for basic documentation. So after wasting all these valuable minutes searching, he finally manages to find a past work order for the filter. Great. He jots down the filter and gasket inventory numbers, but the piping, he completely strikes out. There is absolutely nothing in this giant file about it, so he has to guess. He's forced to rely entirely on his field inspection to figure out that they need PVC pipe and glue from the tool room. And guessing introduces massive risk. What if he guesses wrong? The technicians get all the way out to the field, realize they have the wrong parts, and boom, the job is delayed. That is the real tangible cost of bad filing.
And, just when you think the inefficiency can't possibly get worse, we get this highly relatable moment from our source material. Supervisor Juan comes over. He's asking for equipment info on the hypochlorite pumps. Because everything is just dumped into one massive system file, David has to explain, well, it's in there somewhere, which leads to this incredibly awkward workplace moment. Juan physically hovering in David's shared cubicle, digging through the exact same giant file folder. It's slow, it's frustrating, and it completely derails David's workflow. Think about the hidden costs of interruptions like this. You've got two highly skilled professionals literally standing shoulder to shoulder, hunting through paper like they're looking for a lost lottery ticket. It's just not a sustainable way to run a facility. Okay, moving on to section 2, the smart way, which is all about component-level planning. Let's take a deep breath and just leave all that chaos behind us. Welcome to Universe B, where the difference in how these exact same tasks are handled is, frankly, incredibly satisfying. This reality is built on a seamless 4-step process. Let's move to this and see how it builds. Everything hinges on step 1. The operators actually write the specific equipment tag numbers directly on the work orders when they submit them. That one tiny little behavioral shift, it changes everything. Because of that single action, David can instantly execute step 2, locating the exact pertinent folder. Step 3 allows him to immediately review past work orders. And then step 4, which is literally the magic step, allows him to update his new plan with historical warnings. It's a brilliant, closed-loop system of continuous improvement. In this reality, David is definitely not hunting through a giant FC or IR file. Because he has the tags, he just walks right over to a properly organized planner file area and pulls out the targeted alphanumeric folders. Boom. N02,
FC003 for the filter, and N00IR008 for the piping, instantly. There's no skimming, no guessing, zero frustration. And, just as he suspected, he finds several past work orders for the filter, and perfectly, one for the piping too. The peace of mind here is just huge. Instead of relying on a fuzzy memory or some lucky guess out in the field, David has the exact documentation in his hands within seconds. That's exactly what a functional filing system is supposed to feel like.
Which brings us nicely to Section 3, learning from past mistakes and the power of context. This right here is absolutely crucial. Universe B isn't just better because it saves David 5 minutes of searching. No, it is vastly superior because it gives him the historical context required to stop future failures before they ever happen. Look at the specific value David is now able to add to his job plan, all because he could read the notes left by past technicians in those specific mini-files. Get this, out of the 3 times the plant changed the filter previously, 2 of those times the assembly leaked upon pressurization. So David proactively adds a specific note, tighten the strainer cover in a crisscross pattern, and make sure operators pressure test the line before maintenance leaves. He also finds out from that specific piping file that the hypochlorite pipe actually isn't self-draining like they originally thought. A previous job was seriously delayed waiting for it to drain. Armed with this context, David adds a warning for operations about the clearance problem. Just think about the magnitude of this for a second. He is literally preventing a leaky filter, a potential safety hazard, and a massive scheduling delay simply because he had access to the right context. The technicians out in the field aren't starting from scratch anymore. They're standing on the shoulders of the people who did the exact same job before them.
All right, final part, Section 4, the core planning principle, empowering the team. The overarching lesson from all these illustrations is that good planning isn't just about getting today's job done. It's really about creating a system that makes the job easier, safer, and way more efficient for the next person tomorrow. And this brilliantly illustrates that point. Just look at how Supervisor Juan is treated in our 2 universes. When Juan asks about the hypochlorite pumps in the not this way scenario, he's left hovering awkwardly in a cubicle and 0 new information is added to the system. It's a total dead end. But in the this way scenario, David confidently points Juan to the specific N00IR section or the O&M manuals right on the next shelf. And even better, David actually asks Juan to make copies of whatever useful info he finds so they can create a brand new equipment-specific mini-file. They aren't just doing work, they are actively building a smarter system. They're treating their documentation as a living, breathing asset that gets stronger every single time they interact with it. So I want to leave you with a critical question to chew on. Are you just planning for today, or are you planning for the next time it breaks? When you take a hard look at your own daily operational habits and your documentation practices, what are you actually building? Are you building a thick, unsearchable system file that forces your entire team to guess? Or are you building targeted, component-level mini-files that empower your technicians with the historical context they actually need to succeed? It's a choice, right? And it's a choice you make every single day with every single work order you touch. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this helps you build a smarter system for tomorrow.